Okay, so you have two handouts to do for your drawing assignment, and one of them is the shading worksheet that looks like this one, and the other one is the value scale worksheet, looks like this one. So we're going to kind of go through these so that you know what you're doing and what they should look like. All right, the first one, the shading worksheet, looks like this, and what it's asking you to do is it's asking you to shade each one of these objects according to what it says here. So this whole first row is going to be done using pointillism, okay? And they should kind of look like the item at the very top, okay? So when you're shading this object, it should look like this, but in pointillism. And the cone should look like this one, but done in pointillism. Cube like this, but in pointillism. The ball like this, but in pointillism. The next row you're going to do all in cross-hatching. The next one you're going to use line density, and the last one you're going to use tone. So I'm going to go through and I'm just going to do a little bit of these, demonstrate a little bit of these shading techniques so that you know what they are, how they're done, so that when you are doing them, you know what's going on. Okay, so I'm going to zoom in a little bit so you can see this a little better. I'm going to start off with the pointillism one, okay? And the way pointillism is done is tiny little dots. And this one is going to take you a very long time, okay? Do not get discouraged. I'm going to give you a few tips. Tip number one, use a very dull pencil, okay? The duller the pencil, the easier it will be to make larger dots. Okay, if you're using a mechanical pencil, you are going to take twice as long doing this. Okay, and sometimes when I'm doing this with a pencil, especially, I'll make, instead of making a dot like that, I will actually be making little dashes. Notice that while I'm doing this, you can't hear it. That's important. Okay. The more concentrated those dots are in the space, the darker the area will appear. The further apart you get those dots, I'll do a few of those so you can see what I'm talking about, the lighter the area will appear, okay? Another tip for doing pointillism successfully is put your worksheet on top of, say, a tablecloth, a notebook, a stack of papers. The cushionier it is underneath that piece of paper, the larger your dots will come out and the less noise it will make. Okay, so that's your pointillism. All right, I'm not going to do that whole thing because it's going to take forever. Cross-hatching. Cross-hatching is done where you hatch in one direction, okay, to shade, and then you crisscross those hatches in another direction. Okay, and you keep doing this in different directions until the object is completely shaded the way that you were wanting it to be shaded. Okay, and the more that you concentrate those hatches on top of each other, the darker the area will seem to appear. Okay, you can't really tell that these are hatches unless I press harder, I think. So I'm going to press a little harder so you can see them a little better. Okay, and for your cast shadow, you're going to do that the same way. I'm going to go in one direction, and I'm going to crisscross over that in another direction. That is your cross-hatching. Okay. Line density is the next one, and I like to do line density a couple of different ways. You got some options. You can either hatch in one direction, just like you did with cross-hatching, but don't crisscross. Okay. You can do your line density in a contour with the object, which is what I prefer. So I'm just hatching in a rounded way to make it look like lines filling in. Okay, or another way you can do it is you know, you can hatch in any direction that you want. Okay, so this is the way that I prefer to do it. I like to do line density kind of following the direction of the object. Okay? Tone is your last one, and tone is done just like coloring. Okay, again, a dull pencil is good for tone, because what it gives you is nice, smooth strokes. Okay, and I'm just coloring with my pencil, like as if this was a colored pencil. I am coloring this guy in, and I am using a combination strokes here of hatching and line density and scribble, and I'm going to loosen up a little so you can see it. I'm doing kind of like a circular motion, but you concentrate on getting it correctly colored in the right tone. Darker, concentrate more strokes together to make it look darker and colored in. And if you want it to look lighter, you want to ease up on those strokes, okay, and not put as much pressure. Now, if you would like, you can take your finger sometimes and kind of blend that together to make it look a little more smooth. You can also take like a piece of paper and roll it up on the end of your pencil and push that around to blend it in. Okay, but it's just all about pressure. Okay, and for the cast shadow, again, we're just coloring it in as dark as I can, because that should be the darkest area. Okay, so that is how you're going to do all three of those shapes, or all three of those sections on this handout. Now, you're going to complete the entire handout. You're going to do this entire row in pointillism, this entire row in cross-hatching, this entire row in line density, and this entire row in tone. Okay? The next worksheet that you guys are going to do is called the value scale worksheet. And this is just, I want to make these boxes look like these boxes. And you can use any shading method that you would like. I'd like to use cross-hatching, I think, because my pencil seems to be doing some really nice cross-hatching. Now, if you accidentally go outside the lines like I am, it's okay. Okay? This is just an exercise. Okay? So I am doing my cross-hatching rather quickly. Okay? The idea here on this particular item is that when I look at this particular item and I squint my eyes, it should look like that one. This one should look like this one, okay? This one should be as dark as this one appears, number 9, okay? So if it's not dark enough, you may have to go back and really bear down with this pencil and press really hard. Okay, until you get it looking exactly like the one above. Okay, I feel like I'm getting close. Okay, sometimes you have to keep going over and over and over it until you get it where you want it. Okay, next one, I'm going to ease up a little bit and I'm going to try to match that one. Okay, number 7, trying to match number 7. Number 6, trying to match number 6. When you're all done the whole thing, this one should be white. You don't have to do anything in that one. You can just leave it empty. When you look at this entire thing at the very end, from here to here, if you squint at this value scale, from here to here should look like a gradual change from the darkest dark to the lightest light.